Have you ever wondered how you can start living your purpose today? Welcome back to the Path to Purpose podcast with Dr. Katja Rusanen. In today's episode, we are exploring how to align your purpose with your delivery system so that you can truly live your purpose. I'm excited to introduce our guest, Jennifer Urezzio, who is a prominent figure in the field of personal development and spiritual growth. As a gifted intuitive, healer, and strategist, she has devoted her life to helping others discover their unique soul languages and embrace their true essence. Jennifer's journey began with her own pursuit of self-discovery, which eventually led her to develop a revolutionary system known as soul language. So welcome, Jennifer. I'm super excited to have you here.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the amazing invitation. I'm excited as well.
And I am so curious to know a little bit more of your background and was there a special event that led you to this path?
Yeah, I would like to say there was like a golden ticket moment, but there wasn't. There was a bunch of little moments. I was in marketing and PR, and I knew that there was something bigger inside of me, so I started to pursue that. And along the way, I studied with master intuitives, and I was invited to take part of a event that a friend of mine and my coach was hosting. And when I got there, she's like, there's going to be a lot of speakers, but there wasn't. There was just me and her. And when I got done talking, people were lined up as like, do you know can you tell me about my guides and teachers? Can you tell me about this? And I was like, uh-huh. And I was like, well, I don't know how I know all that, but I do know all that. And that's the moment where my coaching business really was established. I did more clients there to pay for the entire event for myself, and I took clients home. So that was the kind of moment in time where I went, oh, this is a thing. I can do this. And so that's kind of one of the little paths of my journey.
And I love that you shared that because sometimes we are waiting for that big moment, and
Yeah.
sometimes we have that. But there are also journeys where it's like guided step by step on the way. So I love that as well, having a different experience and sharing that. And look at you now. You found your way to share your gifts. And so that we are all on the same page as well. Can you share what is your definition for purpose? Because we will talk about purpose, so let's get the different definitions right at the beginning.
Yeah, I believe purpose is what you're fundamentally here to experience and then offer that experience to others. So often when I ask them their purpose, they go, I'm here to empower women from 18. I'm like, no, those are delivery systems, right? When we understand what we are profoundly here to experience, then we can offer to others. And the delivery systems, how we do that up here. But so often people are looking externally for their purpose, and that creates a lot of pain, a lot of myths, a lot of programming that doesn't serve them and kind of being and experiencing that purpose.
That's super interesting. And now you also mentioned delivery systems. So another word I'd love you to a little bit explain more. What do you mean with
Yeah.
delivery systems?
So no one's here to be an author, a speaker, a coach. They're just delivery systems, right? I have a really great delivery system. It's called Soul Language. But that's not my purpose. My purpose here is to experience deep connection for myself and then for others. And in doing that, I create balance for myself and for others, right? So the delivery system could be almost anything. I would be doing that if I was a bartender. It would really be a painful delivery system for me, but I would still be doing it. I have been in the supermarket and people come up and tell me their deepest, darkest secret. And then you can see their shock on their face and then they walk away, right? So it's really not about understanding the delivery systems first. That's the last step. It's really about understanding what you are profoundly here to experience. And then the way you express it, the way you do it, the way that looks like in the real world will show up, or that will highlight your gifts and talents.
I think there is a lot of confusion now. Like when you explain that, I see many people confuse the delivery systems with purpose.
Right.
So what would be then the steps if
Yeah.
somebody is like now, like, I'm kind of confused with this now. I see that I have set something as my purpose that is actually delivery system. So how can they start like clarifying this?
So the first thing you want to ask yourself is what do you want everyone, including yourself first, to embody on this planet? And you're probably going to get the big four like um, peace, clarity, and wisdom, right? Oh, service and wisdom, right? And you're like, okay, that's so big, right? But you have
Mhm.
to keep asking questions to kind of whittle that down so you have your experience in that area. So it's really about asking questions. It's about also understanding your big themes. Like, what have you been experiencing most of your life for good and for struggle, right? Because your purpose also includes that big life lesson, that big, skill builder, because it builds skills, right? So, on the opposite side of connection for me is failure and self worth. So, if I know that I'm in that kind of mindset of, oh my God, I'm worth nothing. Oh my God, this was a failure, then I'm not feeling like I'm living my purpose, even though that purpose is always beating inside of me. And this morning I had this great realization. I was like, huh, I feel like I succeeded in the last couple. Like I was like, whoa, what is this? This just feels good. Like, woohoo, right? But it's really understanding on a profound level that you're being your purpose even if you never leave your couch. You want to leave your couch, but you cannot not be your purpose. So you want to look at the big themes. What do people always come to you for? What are you kind of always striving for in yourself? What are the things that kind of hold you back? All of that is really encapsulated in your purpose. And what we do is we utilize soul language to come up with that one liner, which allows people to have that mile marker of consciousness. If they're not being and doing that in their life, they're going to feel like they're in struggle and they're creating struggle.
And that's so fascinating, the whole soul language concept that you are bringing forth. And also, let's talk about a little bit more about purpose because the whole show is called Path to Purpose. It is really one of the huge keywords for me. Purpose all the time has been like, because we are seeking that purpose. I think that's, and that when we find it, it just brings that fulfillment in a different level. So, what do you believe like people can learn about their purpose today? Like, what's there about on the learning perspective? What can we
Yeah.
learn?
Yeah. Do you want to try something?
Yeah, let's try something.
Okay, we're going to use your bodies, and we call that divine intelligence, your body's intelligence, your body's divinity to help you get to a consciousness and answer questions with your soul. So if your feet are all twisted, like mine were, right, you want to put them on the ground. And if I use words that you don't resonate with, that's okay. Like kind of just get on my bus or drop in a word that you resonate. So if you have a willingness, close your eyes. And then you want to ask your body, your divine intelligence, to create a conscious connection with your soul. And then here comes the question. What does your soul want you to understand today about experiencing your purpose? And just let me know when you feel complete.
Okay,
And what belief is in direct contradiction with that purpose? And again, when you feel complete, let me know by saying complete.
complete,
And the last question is, how can you make that limiting belief your friend? Instead of warring against it, how can you bring it over to the side of good?
complete.
Great. And then we want to give you a kind of a guidepost. So I'm going to say a statement and let's see what happens in your body. Divine intelligence, fill me with the feeling and knowing that I'm experiencing my purpose every moment of every day. And let me know when that feels complete.
Complete.
When you're ready, you can open your eyes and let's chat about your experience. What
Hmm.
did you notice?
It was like even before we started talking, the word that is very much come forward for me is freedom.
Mm,
Like that's really one of the keywords. And when we started this conversation, that was the word that was very present for me. So in the beginning, that was coming forward.
beautiful. So, you know that when you are making decisions, you want to keep activating divine freedom in your body before you make that decision.
Mm,
So, that is then in alignment with your purpose. So, when you're creating a decision or you're making a choice, if it doesn't feel freeing, then there's internal things that you need to do to shift that. And so it does, or you don't do that thing, right? And then that becomes a guidepost of living and being your purpose.
like that one. That's a
Yeah,
really nice one. Thank you for
you're
sharing
so
that.
welcome.
So this is kind of the process now, as of course people can maybe even if they needed more time, they can of course always the beauty here is they can pause it
Pause
and
it. Yeah.
take the
And they
time.
can rewind it and, have that question asked again. And they can keep asking that question until they get like the answer that's like, yeah, that's the final answer, so to speak. But you're evolving. So, when I first was doing purpose work, my purpose was like success, and now it's just about connection, right?
Yeah.
So it's actually evolved as I evolved and as I let go of, some of those major limiting beliefs that were preventing me from experiencing that purpose to its fullness. It is a spiral, it is a journey, and it is an evolutionary process. And I think people often forget that they feel like they don't know their purpose. They've just forgotten it, or they've gone through life being told what to do, how to feel, and how to live, right? And so those things that have been their purpose have been kind of diminished. I was the answer girl. Like you could, excuse me, people would come all over the office and go, "Hey, Jen, do you know the answer to this?" And I'd be like, "Oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah." And they'd be like, "Oh my God, how do you know that?" I was like, "Oh, I don't know. I just know it." Right. And then they would go back and do the research and they come back and they'd be like, "Oh my God, that was totally right." I was like, "No, I don't know." Like, right. Because I was just tuning into my connection.
Mm.
I was being and living my purpose then. The delivery system wasn't really resonating with me, right? Because it was an environment that didn't feed that purpose. And so often when people feel like their soul is dying, which it can't, or the dark night of the soul, which there's no dark night of the soul, all things that annoy me, right? It's because the human and what your soul is saying are very far apart. And the game here, and it is just a game, everyone, is to bring those two things together. I think so often we make our purpose life and death. And when you take out that, then there's a lot more space, a lot more light, a lot more able to hear, understand, and receive the messages of your soul versus the death grip of control that most of us kind of try to find these things about.
If somebody feels, because I have heard that expression as well, the dark night of soul and feeling separate, feeling disconnected. Like I can't hear the messages, I can't receive the messages. What would you recommend as a first step for them who want to start living their purpose fully? So what can they do? Beside, of course, contacting you. I would recommend that.
Right. Thank you. I would have never said that as an answer, but right. So I would recommend them first activating safety in their system. So it's divine intelligence, your body. That's the words we're using for your body. Fill me with the feeling of knowing that I'm safe to hear, know, and experience my purpose. Because what's in contradiction is this illusion of safety, right? So often people are like, I just really want to create art. Or I want to write that book, but I can't because I've been told that, in order to be safe, receive money, I have to be in a 9 to 5 job, right? So they're disconnected. And the more you keep activating safety, that gap is gonna close. And what's really amazing when you resonate with really divine safety versus the illusion of safety, what happens is the universe starts to move to conspire to create more safety for you. So do that one thing until you felt the shift, and then do the next thing. I think people try to do all the tools all at once, and they wind up doing no tools, or they wind up doing like remote control tools, like, okay, I did that for 30 seconds, it didn't work, let's go to the next one. And sometimes we just need a little time for the energy to shift. So allow yourself compassion and be patient.
I love that. And I love really that you brought this safety in because I work with many who are holding themselves back as well because they have fear. It
Yeah,
doesn't feel safe. And whether it's this life, past life, after going through trauma some sort, they feel that it's not safe for them and they are stuck on that comfort zone
yeah,
where I have been there. I have experienced that too, but then giving themselves the opportunity now to call in that safety and ask for that, because when we ask, we shall receive, right?
yeah.
So
And you have to keep asking, or it's really an activation when we do divine intelligence. You keep activating it until you feel that shift. And then if you slip, you activate it again. And I think people want, metaphysics and I'll call it spirituality to be like one size fits all and one and done. And it's not, because we have free will. We have to keep making the choice to feel closer to our higher power. And the more we make the choice, the more that becomes a pattern. And then you're going to want to create more in your life. And all the stuff is going to come up again in a different way. And then you have to make new choices.
yes. And it is important to remember because sometimes we give up when we get off the track. We are like, oh. So I love that you were like, okay, you just make that choice again. You do it again. Because I think sometimes we are so used to like getting that instant gratification.
Yeah.
But I have done sports. I come from sports background. So you need to do the practice over and over and over and over again and one more time. And it is constant. So it is good to remember that. Keep asking, keep doing these things, and keep noting as well, observing the changes that do happen. But then they might not be that overnight. Sometimes they are, but often they are not.
Yeah.
But like keep believing and keep trusting and keep taking those steps forward because I believe we all have that beautiful opportunity here in the Earth School to really truly fulfill what we came here to do. And I know you have a beautiful gift for those who want to take things to the next level with you and go deeper. So can you share a little bit about the gift that you want to give?
Thank you. I'd be honored to. So there was so many myths of purpose, and it would really I would twitch. People would go, well, I'm not making money, so I must not be living my purpose. I was like, oh my God. Like, how much judgment can we have? And there's a lot of metaphysical mumbo jumbo that online marketers have used to kind of sell their thing. And again, it's a level of consciousness, right? Our consciousness has evolved, so we're thinking and feeling about things differently. So I wrote about a little ebook about the myths of purpose so people could go, oh, that's a lie I keep telling myself. That's a belief structure that doesn't support me or experiencing my purpose in a bigger way. So I want to live not in myth, but in reality.
Wow, that sounds super interesting. So you can, if you want to get your copy, check the show notes below and get that copy for you. And now is I'd love to ask if you have a special final message that you would like to share with us.
Yeah, I want people to remember that they're whole and complete, right? And I think we use a lot of things, a lot of belief systems to create separation. Everyone needs a desk, meaning everyone needs a place where they feel whole, complete, they're being expressed, and they feel like they have a place in the world. You have a place in the world. You just have to remember what it feels like internally in order to create the external experience.
Beautiful. Thank you
Thank you.
so much, Jennifer, for your
Thank you.
insights and all the work that you do in the world.
Thank you.
And if you enjoyed this interview, please give it thumbs up and subscribe for more inspiring content and explore our experiences that we have here. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. So thanks for tuning in.